So, Saisha, what's going on? It's Jimmy. How are you?
I am doing well, Jimmy. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for being on the Let's Talk About a podcast. So, with everything happening with wellness and the creativity of finding one's soul, can you please go into the world of yoga where you specialize in?
So, yoga as a means for wellness allows you to, in my opinion, get to know your body a
Right?
lot better. That is something that I've realized that when we were growing up, that was not made important. Education was seen as important, and getting a good job, and all the things of duty and service, but not wellness, not going within. So, yoga is a practice that exists within your own body, within your own movements.
Okay.
And so, to use it to create your own sense of wellness, feeling better in your body, feeling more open, feeling well stretched, it allows you to find access into yourself.
Okay. So, would you say that's the reason that led you into this world of wellness?
I got my certification in teaching yoga, I should say, from because I was looking to help my students. So at the time, I was a special ed teacher. I taught special ed high school math,
Okay.
and I took a program for special. I mean, I took a program for classroom teachers to learn yoga practices
Right.
to bring mindfulness practices into the classroom for the kids.
Right.
And was hoping that it would help with their testing anxiety and the stress that they had. And then I fell in love with teaching yoga.
Okay.
I'm from Jamaica, Queens. I got to teach in Jamaica, Queens. I got to teach black and brown bodies like mine, older, younger, like everybody that was attending the gyms that I was teaching. And it was so empowering to have the conversations that, yes, this is possible in your body, with your shape, with your figure, because
Right.
those things weren't told to us growing up. Oh, you're just big. You can't be good at anything physical.
Right.
So that caused and causes, continues to cause, women who are high achieving women that work, that have had like their master's degrees and they've been in their fields for 15, 20 years and they're upper level and they've done all these things, they're completely disconnected from their bodies.
Right. So this is where you speak to it about feeling comfortable about one's body, right?
Right.
Whatever that means in their mind, right?
Absolutely. And the better you feel in your body, the more comfortable you're going to be with it.
Right. So Jamaica Queens is not coming to America. Yeah. That's the laughter behind it. So Jamaica Queens, it's another city like parts of in the borough of Queens where the population is plenty, and there are many that come from all different shapes and sizes, and there were some of the challenges in there. So you speaking to it at a high school where one comes from, depending on their circumstances, whatever they're going through, you're able to relax their mind by how you speak well about who you are into fitness, right?
Well, yes. And that was part of the reason I took the transition out of the classroom when I
Okay.
did. I loved being able to bring that mindfulness and the confidence that I was able to instill in my students
Right.
into that room. But there are limitations that come with education. And I realized that this is honestly a lesson that we end up learning a little bit older in our lives. And I love still educating and still teaching, but to women that are more contemporarily aged to me versus the kids that aren't quite ready to receive it yet.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. So your profession requires coaching, retreats, yoga. Can you go into how do you manage your clients and what they're receiving when you provide that value?
Absolutely. So there's obviously just regular yoga sessions, one-on-one, that can be in person, that can be online, where I'm teaching yoga to you. What does yoga look like for you, your body? What moves do you need to make to be in proper alignment for certain poses? And then that teaching is similar when I come to a class. If I have a group class or an event or something like that, obviously I'm teaching all the people that are there how to move their bodies, not hurt themselves,
Okay.
understand where they're supposed to move and how they're supposed to move, because the examples that we see do not look like us.
Right.
And bringing that value and that space into a retreat space where we get to travel, we get to do fun things, go amazing places, and experience things together, that creates just a safe space, a space
Fair
where
enough.
a space where like the women that I serve and the people that I serve feel more comfortable to be more confident in their bodies, be more confident in their space, that feel that they are allowed to move in certain ways, whether it's at home or in a class or out in the world.
Okay. And it's important you say that, right? Because we all deal with, challenges, good or bad, and sometimes we need an out. And the fact that you can provide that through your profession definitely gives one feeling good about themselves, about what steps to do today, tomorrow, and whatever tasks they have going on in their life. So kudos to you on doing some of that stuff. Given the business I'm in when it comes to lending, right, at times I have to find peace. And for my peace, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. And so, I read, find myself, that little quiet time before I take on some of the challenges that I know I'm going to be dealing with, whether it be family,
Absolutely.
work, and all that good stuff. I'm like, okay, what's my out? And my out is 4:30 in the morning. Like I said, reading, meditating, going to the gym.
I saw your story in the gym this morning.
Yeah, it's my why, right? Because I need to take care of me first before I take care of the universe.
Absolutely.
Right. And so that's going back to what you're saying, right? When
Yes.
someone's looking for an outlet, they can consult with you when it comes to the answers they're potentially could be looking for, right? When it comes to yoga.
Absolutely. And that's where, like, I think the biggest program that I have is my one-on-one coaching, where it's people basically uprooting their whole life and saying, I need to do this as a whole better and in a way that is more curated for me. And I don't know how to do that. Saisha, help me. And I love being able to help people find that space, because to imagine being in this space where you probably have had a family, you've been so successful, you've done all these things, and you're like, but I don't know how to be with myself,
Right.
So that space, that meditation time, whatever processes, the self-reflection, journaling, whatever that requires, the outlet, the physical movement also goes along with that.
Keyword, the physical movement on that part, right? So going to that, right, what actionable tips would you give one who's feeling stuck in where they're at today in life?
Honestly, try the things. That's really it.
Right.
Try the things, do the things. Because I always say, I love yoga, and do I
Right.
believe there's a form of yoga for everybody? Yes, I do. However, you don't have to come to my class. It doesn't have to be that. And maybe you prefer a different form of movement, right? All the things can be applicable. It just depends on your body and what resonates with your spirit. Some people find it enough with just a regular gym routine, but maybe you need a different kind of practice.
Right. So through your community, how do you advocate positivity through body, soul, and mind?
I do a lot of things. So I am a person that is very comfortable with
Okay.
my body, because I feel good. I feel good, and I try to demonstrate that I feel good about the choices that I make. I feel good about the things that I put into my body, the movements that I make, the amount of work and sweat and joy and fun and activity. Do the thing.
Right.
If you sit and do nothing, you will feel like nothing. You will feel bad. It will just get worse. And if you actually go for it, you take that step, whether it's just attending a class at the gym. That's how I started, attending some classes at the gym.
Right.
And then getting into a practice, you can find what you like if you actually try to do the things.
Right. But believing in what you should believe in, right?
Right.
So that sometimes that comes to also blocking out the noise that's seek at times. That leads up to my question to you. How do you think one should feel with how social media, describes one's body and feeling good about themselves or not good about themselves?
Social media is such a double-edged sword when it comes to
It does.
body positivity. It's crazy that when the pandemic happened, there was an explosion of body positivity from brands, from
Right.
large brands, because there was also so much conversation around depression,
Right.
on how people were feeling in their bodies. People were being sedentary and gaining weight quickly. So there was a lot of support there that has completely dissolved from then to now, and it's only been a handful of years. But the concept of finding, like, people like me, this is how I built my brand. I am very clear about, like, this yoga is for a thicker body. This is thick thigh yoga. And that doesn't mean that it's for any specific type of person other than somebody that feels fuller and has not seen the examples. And that was the thing. I was in my yoga teacher training not finding examples for myself that I felt could apply, that I could learn from or anything. So I just decided to make it. The educator in me had to do it, you know, and this is how I built my brand. I wasn't finding it. And now I have several friends that I've made that we all do this, and we do it in our own ways, and we present in our own ways and teach in our own ways and love the world in our own ways, with different missions, but with a similar, I guess, starting point, right? My body is like this, and I want to show y'all how to love it.
Yeah, that's key. And you did something on social media, which I love, right? You mentioned the fact just because you lose weight doesn't mean you feel good. Right. I love how you displayed that, because to find the inner person, it's all about you. Weight shouldn't be a factor of how you should treat one or feel about yourself. Right. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. I grew up in the 90s where the diet culture was so high and so important, and it really brainwashed us to believe that everybody was supposed to be thin. Right. And everyone's supposed to be built a certain way. And then not only that, to the point where if you are bigger, if you are fat, if you have fat on your body, you are now wrong. You are bad. You are evil. Right. There's in so many layers of it. And so now you've got all these people so many women come to me and they're like, well, how did you lose the weight? And I will say my body absolutely toned up from the amount of yoga that I do and have done. So that's a real effect that has happened, but it's from loving my body, from treating my body well, and from not hating my body. Okay. Right? And so people come from this I hate my body space, and they have all this extra weight on them, because they will try to do the gym for 3 days a week and then turn around and eat all their feelings the next day, or have their cheat day that's all weekend from Friday night to Sunday night. Right.
I'm a victim of that.
And you know, and I mean, listen, everybody has their times. My birthday's coming up, I'm going away for a week. Don't ask me about any calories, okay? You have to live. Right. But at the same time, like, if I'm living in balance, I feel good. Okay. If I'm not, if I feel bad. And we all know this. We go through this. The night that you drank too much, you did not wake up feeling sprightly in the morning.
No, you did not. No.
Right? And you probably ate the wings. Okay.
It's the headache, you know.
and you're allowed to have a night like that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, how often do you do that? How often do you let yourself feel terrible? Right.
It's true, because it's like what's that permission structure like, right? And so, to be honest with you, in the 90s where I grew up, you know, I was shallow of weight, right? I would see someone, me and the boys be like, nah. And as I got older, I realized, first of all, them days is over. Secondly, Jim, look, that person's that person. You gotta love that person. You gotta like that person. You gotta work with that person for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. That person's a human being at the end of the day. So try not to be closed-minded because of their body type. Understand, like, they're a human being and they mean well. And so I no longer do that. It's been years since I did it. But when I was growing up to what you were saying in the 90s, I was shallow. I was like, nah. But
and it was what we were taught.
Right. We were taught, right? Well, we weren't taught that. I was just, I'm not going to go there, but yes. I was part of that cloud.
So, I mean, yes and no. I feel like we were taught. This is the way media was set up. This is the advertisements we saw. This, the imagery that it was available had a certain aesthetic.
Right. Yeah. So, the TV.
So it's ingrained.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. I would agree with you on that one. So, given the fact that we see all this happening with you providing that power of positivity, is there a mindset shift that you try to communicate that sometimes you feel there's resistance because of how one feels about themselves?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's the craziest thing. I created a bikini line last summer.
Okay, interesting. All right. I love it.
For men and women. You could get one for you and your wife.
I'm not going pink.
It's not going to be pink. It's not. They weren't all pink. They weren't all pink. Even though my brand is pink.
Oh, okay.
They are not all pink.
Yeah, I just see that. That's why I mentioned pink. I saw that on social. I was like, nah, I ain't wearing pink.
There was a black and white set. It was very nice.
Okay, I didn't see it. Okay.
Yeah, but either way, right?
Okay.
So I created this line last year that I continue. I'm gonna have a new season coming out in the spring for summer purchase and whatnot. So
I'm excited for this.
yeah, keep your eyes open for that.
Yes.
And when I created that line, I wanted the idea of inclusivity to be paramount, right? So it goes
Right.
from size 2X small, like
Okay.
2XS, to 6XL.
Okay.
And they're bathing suits, all different types of cuts, giving the option for the way that you want to be presented in your body.
Right.
But here's a bathing suit. Show the skin, make it happen. Go out
Okay.
there. You and your boo can match. You and
Right.
your family can match. Whoever it
Okay.
is, and just to have it's fun. It's cute. It feels good. And I know as a girl that grew up as this size, the cute things were not always available to us. Right? This is a very recent occurrence. We had to make it cute. We had to figure it out. If we wanted it to be that. So I wanted to create that space of inclusivity.
Okay. I mean, look, if you can do it, we all can do it, right? That's how you have to think of it. And I'm happy you're talking more about it. I think this is so important. This is why I wanted you on my podcast, because I felt like, some of us we live in that small bubble where we think we need to be something or feel a certain way. And given the fact that you talk about it so much, and I feel like you're coaching me at times when I'm going through your social channels, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, she's talking about it. She's, and you're so consistent. That's what I love about what you're doing. It's easy for one to say, okay, you need to do this. You go through her social channels. I mean, she is very, excuse me, I didn't even address you. She's just very consistent in what she's talking about when it comes to body, mind, and soul in yoga. So I just love how you provide that value to your clients. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So you shared some of the things that you have going on for 2025. What do you see as far as advocating in this year of 2025?
I've been working on launching more of a course of a program to do more teaching so I can get into personal space a little bit differently. Not everybody can afford one-on-one coaching. Not everybody has the time or the life set up to be able to do that. However, if you feel like this is something you need to learn and a place you need to get into, you can get into your body and feel more positive and learn yoga and learn the teachings that, yes, I talk about in my snippets and in my smaller videos that you see online, like when I just decide to go on a rant and yell at everybody.
Right.
or teach a yoga flow, like any of those things, taking all of those little pieces together to really be cohesive and accessible, because I want it to be affordable. Not everybody is meant to go on a retreat right now or has the time to go on a 9-day retreat to Brazil.
I was going to ask you that. Where was this retreat? I wanted you
right.
to
So the next retreat is in Brazil. There are spots open there. Well, the next retreat I'm going on, I should say, is Cartagena. That's already sold out in April. That's going to be an amazing time with 11 women and myself. And then the retreat that is open for now is Brazil, which that one is actually co-ed. I'm teaching it with my podcast partner, and it's called Black on the Mat, the
Black
podcast.
On the Mat. Okay. Repeat it again just in case.
It's called the Black on the Mat podcast.
Black on the Mat podcast. Okay.
And we just talk about the ways yoga has impacted our lives. We have guests on similar to this, right? And we talk about how to gain access into yoga and find space there and listen to different teachers speak about their practices and what they've done, what they've learned in this time, and their experiences at being Black on the yoga mat.
Okay. I love it. So we met at a real estate convention in Atlantic City.
Yes.
That was a crazy time, right?
Yeah.
Where I was like, hey, I got this. Let's talk about it. I want you to come on. And then sometimes, I would like to do more than what I can chew on. And what I did recognize with you when I went on your page, I was like, this is a good platform for one to use, especially when one's in real estate, right? Because we deal with so many different challenges, and I feel like sometimes you need it. Like I said, I mentioned to you, like I need it out. But I wanted you to speak to some of the professional realtors I speak to sometimes that are going through some of the changes, and some may not know what that out looks like. And so for that reason, I felt like I gotta bring, body, mind, soul yoga to this conversation. And, hopefully they use your platform to see what they can get from what you're talking about that comes in any form, shape, or sizes, because I just love that platform that you got going on.
Thank you. And yes, I honestly, there are tips that I would say for realtors, but for any professional, anyone who is facing stresses of their job or of their work-life balance, which is the highest reason that people come to me, is to figure out how to take time. Time. And that's it. Take a little bit of time for yourself, right? So a lot of people think that, oh, well, if I'm going to do yoga, I have to commit to this hour-long practice. Maybe it's 90 minutes. I have to go somewhere. It has to be hot, so I have to sweat. And then I got to shower before, I got to shower after, I got to do all these things. Now I'm back. This is a 3-hour process. That's a lot.
Right.
Find 15 minutes.
Okay.
Find 15 minutes to stop and roll your head around, roll your shoulders. I have videos on YouTube that are examples of this on purpose so that people can dip their toes and then get a little bit more when they feel like they're ready. But take some time for yourself. Take some meditation time, take some yoga and movement time. And maybe it's not yoga. Maybe you found a different form of physical movement that feels good to you that you can get into. Great. You do your Tai Chi, whatever it is, right? But take the time to actually make it happen. Like you said, you need to wake up at 4:30. You need to wake up in the morning and find that quiet time, that solitude to get your mindset right. I start in the morning. I listen to a meditation. I don't even... this isn't necessarily a big practice. It's a very small, simple practice. I let the meditation play. I let myself clear my thoughts through before the day starts running, because I know I say this all the time and people resonate with me, before my eyes open, I feel my brain running.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And so it's just the things, the to-do list, the things that need to happen in the day, those things happen. Those things start to run through your mind and you're like, I can't even get started because I feel like there's 30 things I'm supposed to do 20 minutes ago. Right.
It's true. That's why you have to know who you are first before you tackle these things. Like you said, because you're like, oh my God, this is gonna happen. It's gonna happen 8:48. There's that email. There's that text. Are we ready to close? Do you have from the realtor? Did the inspection go through? In my world, that's coming. But the fact that you're able to control who you are first. Get your mind right, get your body right.
Yes.
And then tackle on the world. So I can definitely relate. And it's the same thing when I'm talking to my clients too when it comes to lending, right? Sometimes I tell them what the number is and they get shocked. They're like, oh my God, the rate, this and this is going to be my monthly payment. Then I ask myself, okay, Jimmy, how would you feel? And sometimes what I do, inside hack, if you guys want to use it, can I call you back in 15 minutes? Tell my client straight up. I'm like, can I call you back in 15 minutes? Why? Because
you go calm down.
Yeah. Right, because it's a lot going on, right? And sometimes I'm giving them numbers and I explain it well. However, they can't understand why is it that much. So what I do, I say, you know what? Can I call you back in 15 minutes so you can gather your thoughts? And for me to make sure that I'm not making them feel uncomfortable with the direction they're going with their new monthly payment, right? So I'm like, all right, can I call you back in 15? Sure, no problem. And when I call them back, you'd be surprised how that reset button aligns with, oh, thank you so much, Jimmy, for helping me because, it was a lot. And I'm like, it is a lot.
Yeah.
You're taking on a new risk. You have to understand what those liabilities are, and you have to understand this is what I'm signing up for, right? It's a commitment, right? And I don't want any failures. And fear is one of the biggest things one has, and you have to understand that when you're working with professionals and with potential buyers, right? They have to feel comfortable knowing that you're their best interest for what they're going to be doing. So I do this. I have this practice, and it took me a while to get to this level, I promise you. But I understand it now. And again, I go into your little channel, I'm like, all right, this is good. Yeah, I use this today. I use this method today. And I love what you got going on and how you're providing that.
I'm glad to be able to create that space for you. And honestly, obviously, for anybody that does come to my page and say, this is a message I needed to hear today, or this helps settle my spirit, or this is a move that I feel like would be a good stretch for me and relieve some tension, whatever it is, if I can be that resource, I appreciate being that.
I love when you said settle my spirits. It's so important today because there'll be a lot going on sometimes. Yeah.
Listen, it's 2025 life.
I know. We just started, right? We're recording in January. We just started, right?
Whew.
Right. But that's what it's all about, you know, getting to that finish line, whatever that means for you. You mentioned retreats. You mentioned who you are. Is there a favorite restaurant you like to go to in the city? Give them a shout out. Let them know.
What's
your favorite food? Well, no, all right, you go. I'm sorry, my bad. And we don't edit here.
I like all types of food. I like specifically, I went to Victoria's the other day. I took my little sister for her birthday dinner to Victoria's in Harlem.
How cool was that? Okay.
Gorgeous, live jazz.
Okay.
The saxophonist came over and serenaded us and all
Okay,
the
that's
stuff.
what's up.
It was a really nice experience. It's beautiful.
Okay.
The food is delicious. Just really classy and like classic design.
Okay.
Just a gorgeous space. They have
This is Victoria in Harlem, right?
Victoria's.
Okay,
yes.
Victoria's in Harlem.
Victoria's is Victoria's Theater.
Victoria Theater. Okay.
Yes, in Harlem. It was fantastic.
I can imagine. You're talking about, I love jazz too. It's like anytime you can go someplace you eat and get some of that jazz,
Right.
It's a win-win in my mind.
Right, and the drinks were lovely. It was a good time.
It was okay, that's cool. You've been on how many retreats so far, would you say?
I've only run 3 retreats myself.
Okay.
I've participated and taught in a few more, being hired as the yoga teacher or being one of the staff members there. Honestly, I just started in 2023.
Nice.
So I haven't been doing it for too long, but the first one was such a hit that now it's an annual retreat. It's the Unlocking Self-Love retreat that happens every Easter week. So not necessarily April, but Easter when people have that break, because a lot of my clients are moms, right? So they need their kids to be off of school for a week in order to be able to get some space away from them, drop them off with grandma or somebody.
Okay.
But we go somewhere new. We experience something different. We do yoga on the beach in our bathing suits. And it's a very liberating experience where all the women just share so much love always with each other. But yes, so this year I'll be having the most amount of retreats so far. I'll have 3 international retreats. The third one is yet to be announced. And 2, possibly 3 domestic retreats. I just broke into the domestic retreat space last year as well. And I loved it. So building more of that, where it's spaces where we are able to create space and be comfortable around each other in this very supportive, smaller group here or wherever we go.
Speaking of domestic, so you were public about it. You went through a breakup in your relationship, and how you celebrated that part. I'll let one discover that, right?
So wait, we need to take a step back, because speaking of domestic, it was not violent.
No, not in that way. No, not domestic violence, but you mean domestic in relationship. We're speaking in that
it sounds
component.
Bad. Anyway.
So yeah, there's no Tina Turner thing going on. Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Yes. So sorry. Yes. So I was very public about the end of my relationship because of a few things. One, I was very public about my relationship.
Right. Yes.
So I can't speak about it in public and then hide it that when it ends in private or whatever. Like, I don't feel like that's fair. That's fair to the people that
you're keeping it real.
Me. Right. I am keeping it real about the situation that I'm in. I love love. I love being in love. I love relationships. I'm supportive of it, and I'm also supportive of the truth.
Right.
I try to speak as clearly and as directly as I can, in my own soft way, in my own understanding way, because I'm allowed to create that space. I'm a very understanding individual, but this was now somebody that I had given my endorsement to as a partner in my life, in the wellness space, who was lying.
Oof.
Lying about the way he was operating in our relationship, lying about the way he was operating in life.
Right.
And unfortunately, people that are coming for wellness is a very vulnerable group of people.
Right.
So my way of protecting these people is to be honest, is to be clear, is to be like, this is the way this went. This is what's happening.
Right.
This is what you can get from this person. I'm not going to endorse you out loud and then let that ride when I know that there's problems here, that you can't be trusted in certain ways. And I refuse to, because now my name is in this.
Right.
You come to me looking for a resource. I always tell people, I can probably find you a teacher that you like in your area. I can find you this person. Just let me know, send me a message, because I know people now, right? And I love to be able to find that connection for folks. I've got teachers that I know in Texas. If somebody messages me, do you know anybody in Dallas? I actually do, you know, like I can make those connections for people, but I'm not going to do that if you're shady, right? If there's something wrong with you, shady is the right word. Like if you were operating in a way that's unethical, and then part of yoga is believing in karma. I fully believe what I create in the world and what everybody creates in the world, they get back in whatever ways. So I can't allow you to create negative karma. I can't create negative karma. I can't do these things and feel like it's okay.
Right.
So I have to speak on it.
Okay. You did that very well. Again, this is public information. This is not Jimmy just throwing it out there. I promise you. I was like, whoa, she did all the moving truck, the emptying out, I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I got up and I ran. That's how I feel about it.
Okay.
When someone is lying to you and then like so negative and grossly lying and being aggressive and these other things, the only thing I could do is protect myself in that space, because I'm not going to pour into it and make it worse. I'm going to get up and go.
Okay. Makes sense. Hey, look, in the end, you got to feel the way you feel, right? And the only person that is satisfied is you. So this is what was going on, and this was unappreciative on the other side. And life does happen. Life does go on. It's what it is. You did what you needed to do. And again, you tell that story very well. And it's what it is. That said, I know you've traveled a lot. What is your favorite country you've been to so far?
So far, it is Thailand.
In Thailand? Okay.
Thailand was gorgeous. And I only went to Phuket. So I did a retreat. My Unlocking Self-Love 2024 was in Bali.
Okay.
And one of my close friends lives in Phuket. So I ended up going to Phuket for about a week after the retreat happened. And we taught an event there as well, which was cool that I got to teach another international event. And
go you.
And because she's a therapist, so we did, things there. Thank you. It was a beautiful experience. It was just beautiful being there. The being in Maya Bay is one of the most beautiful, like white sand, blue water, mountains, like just peeking right out of the ocean. Just gorgeous.
Breathtaking.
Absolutely. I have a video of me floating right there in the water, and I love it. It's the Pisces in me is so satisfied with all the water, and it was just gorgeous. It was the nicest water I'd seen since the Bahamas.
Okay.
And I loved being in the Bahamas, so just that, I think the connection with nature, that honestly Indonesia and Thailand both had is something that I truly love. I mean, you've seen my tattoos. Like I'm into the plants. I'm definitely a plant mom in person, and so that's celebrated in their infrastructure, in their architecture, and the ways that they operate, the practices that they have. I love the visual aspect of the country, and just the mindset, even to be aware of nature.
I mean, you put the symbol on your body.
Indeed.
So it says a lot to what it means to you. So that's what it's about, right? And this is who you are today.
Right. And so actually, the story of the Monstera plant, which is what is tattooed on me. The Monstera is the hurricane plant.
Monstera? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Monstera. She. She's named after my Molly, my big Monstera that I own, and she is, like I said, she's the hurricane plant. She withstands. She thrives in the rain and the thunder and the storm and the wind, and it blows, and she holds on.
I love it. Wow. Whew. Interesting. I love it. Look, it's who you are, and that's what I love about what you bring to this, right? It's what you bring to it. And wow. if you didn't know, now you know. Saisha has a lot to talk about when it comes to one looking for themselves and what energy they want to put out for themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So where can someone find you? Because we're doing our thing out here. On the Let's Talk About It, we are doing our thing, and I want people to definitely tap into where they can find you.
Absolutely. I am Thick Thigh Yoga absolutely everywhere. That is thickthighyoga.com. That is Thick Thigh Yoga on Instagram. Thick Thigh Yoga on TikTok, if we're allowed to have it, however long we're allowed to have it. Thick Thigh Yoga on YouTube, everywhere. You can follow me on Threads, on Twitter. I don't really say much on Twitter. Tweet me, and we will have a conversation.
I love it.
But that is me. I did a pretty good job of locking down all the handles.
Yeah, I think you did.
And that everywhere that you can find me, you can find resources, you can find quotes, you can find, like I said, I do one-on-one coaching. I teach yoga privately and in group events and classes. I've done corporate events and classes. My one-on-one coaching, which maybe I just mentioned that. And I sell journals that if you feel like maybe it's too much to have the one-on-one conversation, I'd like to read about it and reflect on my own. I've created a few journals. More of those are also coming out this year. I am excited to work with you. I'm excited to work with people that are really looking to, like you said, find themselves, find more of themselves.
Love it, love it. Again, thank you for tapping into Let's Talk About It podcast, YouTube, on your favorite streaming platform. I'm on Apple, I'm on Amazon, I'm on YouTube. You name it, just tap in. Let's Talk About It by Jimmy Mortgage, and I will pop up. Again, thank you so much for your time today.
And thank you for having me.
Yes, I love it. I appreciate it. Thank you.